So we welcome you all here today. It was 5 years ago when Enbridge and Algonquin Gas announced their plans to build a natural gas compression station right in the heart of this community. Alice did not agonize, she organized immediately, and she helped to found the Four River Residents Against the Compressor Station. And she has led the group in its fight against the Weymouth compressor station to save the beauty of Weymouth and to protect the health and the safety of our surrounding communities. Last week, a gasket failure at the unfinished compressor station behind us caused a dangerous gas leak and an emergency shutdown of this site. The Weymouth compressor, before even becoming operational, has proven what we have been screaming from the rooftops for years. This compression station is unsafe, it is unhealthy, and it is unnecessary. When this gasket failed, it showed how this process has failed the people of Weymouth. In the wake of this ground level gas leak that could have put the lives of nearly 60,000 people at risk, Enbridge failed to notify local residents. Unless they saw it on the news, read it on social media, or heard it from a friend, they would have no idea about this emergency in their own backyard. We keep learning new information about the threats posed by this project. So today, I am calling upon all officials to begin to revisit all of the issues that relate to this safety concern which we all have. True consideration of the science and the data will show that this project doesn't belong here and was never needed in the first place. So I just believe very strongly that we have to revisit the science, conduct a full, independent, and transparent assessment wherever it is necessary so we can get this answer for the community. In November, National Grid and Eversource came out and said that they don't need the proposed natural gas compressor station in Weymouth to meet consumer demand. Massachusetts residents have nothing to gain and have everything to lose. The Weymouth compressor station is being constructed by a Canadian company. It is part of a project intended to send natural gas through Massachusetts, export it out to Canada, and then on to foreign markets, all to feed a global addiction to fossil fuels that is fueling our climate crisis. We are seeing right now what this addiction has fueled. Fires ravaging the West, hurricanes tearing through the Gulf Coast, windstorms causing trillions of dollars in damage, rising sea levels here in Massachusetts, tornadoes ripping through Cape Cod. The climate crisis is at our doorstep, and refusing to commit ourselves to action means denying the reality of this crisis. This global addiction to fossil fuels is absolutely the biggest problem which we have, which is why I have introduced legislation in the United States Senate to block construction of any compressor station that would be built as part of a project to export American natural gas around the planet. And I will be working to prevent the construction of facilities like the Weymouth compressor, which ask our communities to bear all of the risk, while natural gas companies that are multinational firms reap the rewards. This project that would pump gas out of the United States just to pump profits into a Canadian company's coffers should not go forward. This project is asking our residents to sacrifice their health, their safety, to be a throughway for foreign gas markets, to benefit gas companies' bottom line. And that's why I have repeatedly written to Enbridge to halt construction of the site and again today, calling on the company to halt activity and take back its request to authorize the operation of the plant, which is filed at the same time that it was supposed to be investigating the safety of the station in light of the recent unplanned gas leak. Stopping the construction of the Weymouth compressor is a matter of justice, and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's approval of the project continues a legacy of bad policies that ignore frontline communities, the climate crisis, and the realities of our clean energy future. The compressor is being constructed within a half mile of more than 960 homes. More than 3,000 children live within 1 mile. 13,000 children go to school within 3 miles of the site. The compressor endangers the health and the safety of a community that is already at a higher risk for cancer, pediatric asthma, and cardiovascular and respiratory diseases. Over the last few months, we have seen the consequences of poor air quality in our frontline communities. We know that the closer that families and individuals get to pollution is the more likely they contract asthma, and the more likely, as a result, that they contract coronavirus. We need to make sure that we have a compressor station that is being constructed here never open, that it never be allowed to operate, because it threatens the health, the safety of our residents. When I was a boy, my mother would say to me, "Don't swim in the Malden River," because along that river they had allowed all of these companies, gas companies, coal companies, chemical companies, all to just use the Malden River as a dumping ground. The Malden River was black with a kind of pre-Jimi Hendrix purple haze that was over it. When your mother says don't swim in the Malden River and it's 4 blocks from your house, you know that that community did not have environmental justice. And that was the birth of Ed Markey as an environmentalist when I'm 10 years old, 11 years old. Well, the same is true here today. The same here is true today. We can see that this is not the right site for this facility. We can see that we need to move on to a new era where children have to look to the history books to find that we ever had such an addiction to fossil fuels. And again, we have to keep coming back to this. We have to move on. We shouldn't be building more pipelines through Massachusetts. We should be deploying wind and solar and all-electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids and battery storage technology. That is what we should be doing. We should have a revolution that is here. So, from my perspective, yes, we need a Green New Deal. We need to make sure that we just have a revolution in our relationship with these issues. There should not be a pipeline being built almost like a straw through Massachusetts by a Canadian company so that that natural gas can then be exported out of the United States with all of the risks being taken by the health and safety of the residents of Weymouth and Braintree and Quincy, and all the benefits flowing to a Canadian company. We don't need their natural gas coming through these communities. So from my perspective, we need, one, to call for a halt to the construction of this project. We see this facility as a danger. They have been venting methane. They had a gas leak last Friday, and it's exacerbating climate change at the same time. Two, we call upon Enbridge to fully investigate last Friday's accident and report what happened. Number three, I join with Congressman Lynch in demand PHMSA, the Pipeline Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, to fully investigate this leak on a federal level. And I call upon the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to do the same thing. And fourth, we demand that the State Department of Environmental Protection reevaluate all of the health and safety and climate assessments of this plant. It is time to do that evaluation. We need action now. Enbridge wants to open this plant on October 1st. They want on September 25th to begin to gear up the facility so that it can have it ready for October 1st. We need a timeout. We need to just end this right now. Let's get all of the answers for the community before the community is taking all of the risks in a facility which obviously, as recently as last Friday, has shown that it is not ready. It is not prepared to protect the health and safety of the community. Thank you all so much for being here. We're not going away. We're going to stay on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.